and I don't acknowledge you, don't take that as like, hey, he's just mean. Oh my goodness, he's just all mean and everything else, and he's just not nice, and all this and that. Bless you, no witching. So, within that, alrighty. So, I am your professor. I go by Mr. Barber. One of the things is, and there's a reason why. I've had some call me by my first name. I will not respond to you in that way. Why? Because I am your professor. Because one, I'm trying to make that boundary present and make it evident. Because one of the things, if you're working in any professional capacity, you want to make sure that that boundary is there. In addition to that, how many have gone over the syllabus itself? Raise of hands. So I advise you to go over that syllabus. It's already there. It's already available on Blackboard. So within that, one of the things is as you're going along, you're going to come across different uniquenesses as we go through. But one of the big things is, and we're going to go over that now. Hello. That thing. All right. So one of the things is, we're going to go, and that's what we were always told to do. We were told to go over the safety parameters of the school and everything else. And within that, that's one of the big things we have to go over. And I didn't go over that with the first time you guys came in. So you guys know where the exits are. The exits is right here. You're going to go out through the window, or through the, not through the window, that'd be horrible. You're going to go out. So again, you're going to go out through here, and you're going to go out that way. But again, if there is an active shooter, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're primarily looking at, active shooter. So, and I know it's one of those things where you're like, why are we going over? Because we go through the active shooter training, we have to make sure that that's always clear to all students as well. So the active shooter, so one, you can either barricade the door, so you can use these tables, barricade the door and everything else. And the door does not have a lock on it, if you notice. So therefore, you have three different options. So option one is to hide. So within that, you make sure that you turn off what? The lights. So make sure you turn off the lights, make sure you don't peep out through the window right there, because again, if you do that, you become a soft target. So within that, that's one area. So again, that's one parameter, is you can hide. Number two, if I hear gunshot noises, I will tell you either to run or to hide. Because one, that's primarily what I do, is I used to work with domestic violence and sexual assaults. So my training was always looking at parameters in regard to the forensic aspect. But as I look at that, that's one of the big things is, as I hear those things, I will literally yell it out. So I've done the training here, and I've attended the training and everything else. How many attended it with me? I don't think you guys were there. Okay. I don't know if you guys... Can you guys hear me on that side? Alrighty. So we're going over the active shooter. So again, you notice your environments. That's one of the big things you're always looking at. You're noticing the environments. So again, that's one of the big areas is notice where your exits are. So again, we went through the second one, which is to what? To run, right? So flee. You can get out. And that's one of the big things is you can get out. That's one of the areas. And as you get out, get as far away from the building as possible, everything else. Excuse me. And as you get far away, one of the big things is a lot of times you have what? What do you usually have and carrying with you at all times? Phone. Your phone. I can't find my phone apparently. Oh, there it is. So your phone, as you take your phone, one of the big things is call 911, or on the reservation, you're going to call 21111. Because if you call 911, what's going to happen? You're going to get contact to either Window Rock or to Shiprock. You don't want that. No bueno. So one of the things is you want to make sure that you're contacting local PD. And so the third one, what is the third one? Who knows what the third one is? So the third aspect is, say for example, you stay, and you want to stay in the room, everything else, and somebody comes in. The third option is to actually fight. So again, that's up to you. It's one of those things where we do have to go over that. And I will be going over that with my 241. And I'm not trying to scare you, but again, in light of everything that we look at, everything that we initially garner as we're going along, we just have to make sure that those parameters are there. You also have the emergency procedures there on the door. So if you guys can notice that, everything else, that's primarily what we're always looking at, is what can be implemented in those given scenarios. Again, it's just a scenario. I'm not saying it's going to happen, because a lot of people are like, oh, he's trying to curse us and everything else. I'm not trying to curse you or anything else. I'm just simply laying down the aspect of this is what can happen. So does anybody have any questions about that? So, how many have any questions about week one? Because I didn't see you guys last week due to the weather and everything else. The other thing, that's what I'll go over. The weather. I do watch the weather a lot. Well, not enough. That's one of the things, is I don't believe the weathermen are accurate. So one of the big things, if I see a lot of snow and everything coming down, I will be a little alarmed. And if it's coming down even more, and if it puts my life in danger, I'm not going to put whose life in danger? You guys, the students, learners, everybody. I want to make sure that you're all safe. And I had some students that are like, I braved the weather and I came all the way down here. And I'm not going to give you brownie points. I'm just like, wow, okay, you made it. And you're like, yes, I made it all the way down. That's awesome. You have a 4-wheel truck or something, I don't know. So one of the things is, and that's where I have the recording right now. So the recording's going to go through and everything else. If that is the case, and I do not, and I'm not able to make it or anything else, I will let you know the day of this class. So I will let you know by 12 o'clock. Just as we noted within last class, I let you know by 12 o'clock. That's where I sound the emails. So do check your emails. I only send through Blackboard. And I only send it to your primary Danette College email address. I will not send it to your iginese.22@gmail.com. I will not send it there. Why? I'm teaching 154. So now that went up. That's amazing. That's awesome. So you guys are literally, the site program, we're excited because we have the largest group of individuals, so we're proud of that. We throw that around. We literally do. We're kind of like, yeah, they love us. We're awesome. So that's one of the things is, as we're going along, I want to make that clear because one, as you're going along, we want, bless you. Everything okay? No chin. They're so focused. You guys are so focused. Okay. So, within that, I will send you an email. So do check your emails that day for the day of class. And so within that, I will send out emails and everything else. So do make sure you check your Warrior Web ID or your Warrior Web emails. And so does anybody have any questions about week 1? Anything on your end? You guys are all good. Everybody feels knowledgeable. How about week 2? Were there any questions about week 2? It's okay. It's one of those things where if you have questions, I'm not going to be like, oh no, we have to retry. I had you guys for 3 hours. Everybody's like, oh my goodness. How many saw that last time? Did I go for 3 hours? I went for 3 hours. And people were like, oh my goodness, that's a lot. I know, it's a lot of information. So, does anybody have any questions as we're going along? Any? All right. How many have any questions about week 3? How many have any questions about the discussion questions? Everybody knows what they're doing? Kind of? Maybe? Or you're so confused that you're just going to wing it? Don't wing it. Don't try to wing it.
It's kind of gotten a little bit too much, but I'm sure we can.
Okay. One of the big things is, if you notice, how many words are there that I asked for? 400 blessed words. Awesome. I love it. I heard another professor that did 900 words. I was thinking, I was like, oh man. I was like, wow, that's so amazing. It just gave me chills. Literally, I was like, should I do it? No. I'll stick with my 400. I don't want to change anything on my syllabus. I don't want to keep changing my syllabus. I'm gonna stick with 400 words. So the 400 words are your perspective. But in addition to that, I want to make sure that you're also using what? Articles, you're also looking it up, you're doing a Google search. By this point, for my 111 class, I supply the articles for them. It's amazing. They have all the articles there, but there's still some issues. Within those issues, sometimes they have different hiccups, and that's fine. That's where I try to guide them. But for my 240, 241, I start allowing you to search for those articles, search for the knowledge, search for all this and that. The reason why is as you're going along and you're going to any field, one of the things you're going to be looking at and you're going to be learning as you're going along is the fact that you are going to initially be the expert in that given field. Believe it or not. So as that expert, what are you learning to do? You're learning to search for those things, right? So as you're searching for it, at times, you may be the only individual in that given room that may actually know what is going on. That's one of the things I'm trying to teach you guys. So it allows you to say, okay, you know what? I may not be an expert in this, but I'm going to learn as best I can. And that's one of the things I'm always looking at. So for the discussion questions, how many hit any hiccups in terms of posting? So Control V, it'll easily do that. It'll easily post your papers. Control V, Control V. So do a Control A, which selects your whole paper, and then Control V when you go into your, and I'll show you. So I'm going to show you guys, I don't know if you guys had any issues on that side, so I'm going to switch my computer back the other way, back to me. So I'm going to show you, let's see, Firefox, where are you? There, no, I don't want Facebook Hub. I am not going to Facebook anybody. Let's see, alrighty. My voice is like really raspy right now, it's scary. I sound like Batman. No, nothing really. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Yes. No. Blackboard Learn? No. We just have to go through the whole process. No. Why are you doing this to me? Let me see. I know what to do. And then I'm going to go into Blackboard. No. Good. And I can't even get into my own. I really am a professor. I'm not joking. Alrighty, so 240. So what I did is, you guys are all in the trial course. So, switch over. Now I am now a student of Danette College. So your discussion forums. So we are in week 3 right now. So this is week 3. So 400 words, 400 amazing words. So within, so I'm going to use an example. Let me see if we can pull up a simple example. Okay. Come on. Alrighty, so we're going to go with psych and death. Okay. So I'm going to write about myself, ethicality. So I wrote about myself. I'm going to select all of this. And I want that to be myself. So let's do a control copy, or control C. So I go over here and I click on it. No, and I don't want the article, never mind. So I'm going to create a thread, as everybody can see. Can everybody see it on that side? Alrighty, I think they can. So I'm going to create a thread. I open it up. I see it, everything else. So there's one thing that has been asked. I cannot attach my paper. I don't want you to attach your paper. That's the reason why. I don't want a paper attached. Your paper is only going to be attached for your library. Library, not library, library. Your library paper. I want you to be able to understand that, one, you cannot attach your paper to this. The reason why, and there's a reason, there's a logic for that. So this is week 3. So I'm going to type in week 3. And then, say for example, I want to post everything that I just highlighted. I go and do a right click with my mouse. I hit a paste. How many saw that? How many, when you saw that, you just simply said, I don't know what to do, and you panicked? It happens. I've had students that were like, I saw that and it said, I cannot do anything with this paper. Do not worry. Do not worry. You're going to hit the OK button and say OK. And instead, you're going to do a control V. Ta-da! It doesn't even give you that little hiccup. And then you're going to either save it as a draft or submit. I submitted it. Boom, right there. Looking all peachy. So then say, for example, I want to literally, I marvel at the fact of what I just written, what I had just written, and I'm thinking, wow, this is so amazing. This literally is about my life. It literally is, because it is literally about my life. So I'm going to hit a reply. Same thing. This is what you're doing every time you reply to somebody. Again, what am I asking for the replies? Am I asking for 200 words, 500 words, a whole paragraph? No, I'm not even asking for any of that. I'm just asking you to make one coherent sentence to another person. It shows that one, you've done the work and you've responded to somebody. So then you do the same process. Control V, boom, submit. The reason why, and I'll go back, if you look at it, so you click on here, no. It keeps opening, I don't want it to open. Grading information. So, this is what I'm looking at. So this is your grading rubric. How many have seen the grading rubric overall in your work? You probably haven't seen it yet because the first week it really didn't count. It was just the fact that you did it. So the grading rubric is here. So this is where I'm looking at. Respond to another learner. You do that? Great. Awesome. You don't do that, guess what? Drops down to 1 point. These points, when you look at the whole thing, they start to add up. I've had some students who are like, yeah, nah, I'm going to forego it. Guess what? It matters when it comes down to finals. Midterms, we call it kind of like a floating grade. I've had some students that came into my class and they're like, you know what? All the major assignments aren't due till the end, and I'll just hold off till then. And then when I started calculating grades, I took everything into proportion, everything else. All of a sudden, those individuals that suddenly had an A suddenly dropped to a low grade. And they were like, what happened? And I said, well, you do know you're missing these points. I've only just missed a couple assignments. Not really. Because that's the reason why that I have you turn in through Blackboard. So Blackboard keeps an accurate stamp on it. Once you hit submit, it will show the time. That helps me. Because it says, okay, this person submitted on this time, and you're like, no. I submitted on this time. No, you didn't. Because it shows right there. And if you're going to go that route, one of the big things is, say for example, Blackboard suddenly shuts down. How much time do I give you? One whole week, one whole glorious week to write literally half a page. That's it. And within that half a page, I expect students to hopefully get something in before the due date. Because one of the things is, Sunday night, I have class and I teach the next morning at 9:30 in the morning. To me, 9:30 in the morning is torture. It's like literally someone grabbing a chalk and just coming into the chalkboard. If you guys remember chalkboards, that's how I feel. I'm like, 9:30 in the morning. But within that, I have to be up bright and early. If you email me at 10:58 at 9 that night, I probably won't get back to you and win the next day. And some people are like, that's not fair. To whom? Because one, I'm just asking for 400 words. I know it seems like a lot. Some of you guys are like, that's 400 words. I know. But I'm trying to help you to be able to decipher things very quickly. So as you go through, you have posting is at least 400 words of written text. Here it has broken down, appropriately assess the conclusion in light of the presented evidence. Each sentence structure is effective, powerful, rich, well chosen. I want you to be able to bring out all your verbiage, all the things, all of the words that you want to use. That's where you're going to use it. I don't accept LOLs. If you write, oh, you know what, I had a convo with this person, you had a conversation with that person. I don't want convos, I don't want abbreviated words, that's one of the big things. It's always a pet peeve. And then you have depth of thought. That's where you draw the connection between what is happening, the contradictions. And then the last one is references. That's where I'm looking at in-text citations, that's where I'm looking at referencing. For my 111s, they begin to notice that, they're looking at like, what? Then they're like, this is about the mind. I said, I know. But one of the big things is you have to have a solid base in terms of what you're defending, in terms of your opinions. Because everybody has opinions, but are you able to back it up with actual facts? So that's the reason why we have the discussion questions. Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions about that so far? Nothing? Everybody good? So I'm going to exit this. Let's see, resources. So your resources, if you look up here, chapter 3 is already up here. I think this is for my 240-21. So you guys, I don't think have it yet. Is it up right now?
It's up.
Yeah.
It's up, okay. So what I did is, I think I talked to you guys about that. I now upload it prior. So that's one of the things, and if you view the video, if you watch the video that I have up, so this is me right here, so you're gonna click on it, so you can go on YouTube, everything else. So it's gonna be there too, so I upload these to YouTube. So again, that's where it's available. One of the big things is sometimes it's better just to be in class because one, you're able to grab as much information as possible. So what I do is I also pull a lot of your questions, everything else, your exams, or your quizzes, not your exams. You don't have an exam in this class. You just have a big test and then you have quizzes all the way through. But as you're going through, I pull a lot of the information based upon the lectures that I offer and everything else. So if you miss something, that's one of the big things is it's available, but at times it's better just to be in class and you're able to hear it all. And let's see, so these are all the resources. In addition to that, you have the essentials. How many have not gotten the book yet? Okay. So I would advise you to get the book soon. So that's one of the big things. Again, it's okay to use this one or it's okay to use I believe it's the second edition. Second edition is available also. So again, that's one of the things is I would try to ask students, again, there's not that much of a change. I just want you to know the core outlook. So that's introduction to all, resources, exit, continue. Okay. All right. Wow, we already literally spent a whole, 30 minutes ago. I feel like I know you guys already. Alrighty, so we're going to look at the neonate, birth in the neonate. So neonate is simply a child who's just been birthed, so a small child. So it's one of the things we're always looking at is as we're going along, we're going to have, if you have any questions, we're going to kind of analyze everything that's going to happen. But as we're going along, I just want to make sure that if you have any questions, please stop me. It's okay. I'm not going to be like, no, we're going to keep. I don't want to know what you think. I literally do. I want to know. Because even when I was working as a consultant, I wanted to make sure that people were literally there with me. I don't want to lose them in the dust. Alrighty, so we shall begin. Hold on. On. There you go. Disclaimer. So again, I always try to make sure that the disclaimer is available. So this is a human growth and development course specifically designed for mature adult college students. Various topics will be covered that may be alarming and may have language and topics and films and slides and other teaching materials that you may find offensive or be seen as offensive. We may discuss issues that you may find embarrassing. At times, it may be uncomfortable and even inappropriate. To remain and pass this class, you must be tolerant and respectful of others and maintain a mature and professional manner at all times. If you are extremely upset by or made very uncomfortable by the various topics, please let me know. Because again, it's one of those things where I do talk a lot on taboos. I talk a lot on different areas. How many have my 241 class? So 241. Is it very controversial at times?
Yes.
Yes. I try to literally run on that fringe of controversy. I'm like, yeah, let's just try to see how far I can go and see if anybody can. Yeah. People are like, oh, he's not supposed to say that. I'm sorry. So you are going to what? Be parents or going to be a parent. So that's one of the things is you look at it, you're like, oh, it's so adorable, their little tiny faces. How many literally saw that when you saw your kids or you were about to have kids? You're like, or how many were just like, oh my gosh. That happens. A lot of times, I mean, it's one of those things where even on campus, people are like, we don't have kids, that's crazy. And I'll give you an example. I was working with an individual here on campus. And this person was responsible for handing out what? Condoms. So they were handing out condoms, they were handing out KY jelly, they were handing out all these different things. And so as I go along, I'm always, one of those things where when I talk about it, I always try to make sure that individuals are aware of the impact. The impact of what? Practicing safe sex. And a lot of times when you look at it, when you talk about it, and I've done tons and tons of workshops with schools and high schools, and when I talk about sex, it's very what? Scary. And so one of the big things is I'll have them go through. I was working with Chin-Lee, and I always use Chin-Lee as the staple point. So if you went to Chin-Lee, I'm sorry. But I was talking to them, and I have them go through, and we're looking at teen dating violence. And I was telling them, I said, these are the different things. This, and this, and this. And then at the end, it had coercion regarding sex. And I said,